Okay, we're ready for part 3. And if you remember, Nana had just said that the bunny had a very knowing expression. And that was a wonderful summer. Near the house where they lived, there was a wood. And in the long June evenings, the boy liked to go there after tea to play. He took the Velveteen Rabbit with him. And before he wandered off to pick flowers or play at brigands among the trees, he always made the rabbit a little nest somewhere along the bracken. Bracken, I had to look it up. Bracken is like a little fern that grows wild in the woods. If you remember, sometimes when we go hiking, you'll see those little ferns. Well, that's called bracken. So he said he always made the rabbit a little nest somewhere among the bracken, where he could be quite cozy, for he was a kind-hearted little boy, and he liked Bunny to be comfortable. One evening, while the rabbit was lying there alone, watching the ants that ran to and fro between his velvet paws, in the grass, he saw 2 strange beings creep out of the tall bracken near him. They were rabbits like himself, but quite furry and brand new. They must have been very well made, for their seams did not show at all, and they changed shape in a queer way when they moved. One minute they were long and thin, and the next minute fat and bunchy, instead of always staying the same like he did. Their feet patted softly on the ground, and they crept quite close to him, twitching their noses, while the rabbit stared hard to see which side the clockwork stuck out, for he knew that people who jump generally have something to wind them up, but he couldn't see it. They were evidently a new kind of rabbit altogether. See, Bunny is in the bracken, and there's 2 little rabbits here looking up at him. They stared at him, and the little rabbit stared back, and all the time their noses twitched. "Why don't you get up and play with us?" one of them asked. "I don't feel like it," said the rabbit, for he didn't want to explain that he had no clockwork. "Ho," said the furry rabbit, "it's as easy as anything," and he gave a big hop sideways and stood on his hind legs. "I don't believe you can," he said. "I can," said the rabbit. "I can jump higher than anything." He meant when the boy threw him, of course, but he didn't want to say that. "Can you hop on your hind legs?" asked the furry rabbit. That was a dreadful question, for the Velveteen Rabbit had no hind legs at all. The back of him was made all in one piece, like a pin cushion. He sat still in the bracken and hoped that the other rabbits wouldn't notice. "I don't want to," he said again, but the wild rabbits had very sharp eyes, and this one stretched out his neck and looked. "He hasn't got any hind legs," he called out. "Fancy a rabbit without hind legs," and he began to laugh. "I have," cried the rabbit. "I have hind legs. I'm sitting on them." "Then stretch them out and show me, like this," said the wild rabbit, and he began to whirl around and dance till the little rabbit got quite dizzy. "I don't like dancing," he said. "I'd rather sit still." But all the while he was longing to dance, for a funny new tickly feeling ran through him, and he felt he would give anything in the world to be able to jump around like those rabbits did. The strange rabbit stopped dancing and came quite close. He came so close this time that the long whiskers brushed the Velveteen Rabbit's ear, and then he wrinkled his nose suddenly and flattened his ears and jumped backwards. "He doesn't smell right," he exclaimed. "He isn't a rabbit at all. He isn't real." "I am real," said the little rabbit. "I am real. The boy said so." And he nearly began to cry. Just then there was the sound of footsteps, and a boy ran past near them, and a stamp of feet and a flash of white tails, and the 2 strange rabbits disappeared. "Come back and play with me," called the little rabbit. "Oh, do come back. I know I'm real." But there was no answer. Only the little ants ran to and fro. and the bracken swayed gently where the two strangers had passed. The Velveteen Rabbit was all alone. Oh dear, he thought, why did they run away like that? Why couldn't they stop and talk to me? For a long time he lay very still, watching the bracken and hoping they would come back, but they never returned. And presently the sun sank lower, and the little white moths fluttered out, and the boy came and carried him home. Okay, I'm going to stop there, and we'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.